Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we're taking a look at Studio Series number 34, Megatron from Dark of the Moon. This is a new leader class toy, and is the first figure of Dark of the Moon Megatron made since his old Voyager, released around the time the movie was made. Like all Studio Series figures, he does come with a little background display. He also has some interesting accessories, which are quite unique to this toy and the Transformers franchise. And just like always, we're going to take a look at the figure's box, the instructions, any extra goodies they come with. We're going to get a good look at Megatron in both of his modes, as well as the transformation required to get between those. We'll do a comparison or two, and then at the end, I'll give my final thoughts on the figure. So let's get started. Alright, Megatron's box is a standard liter size box. It's got all the usual branding. This was number 34. And on the front has this really menacing picture of Megatron just preaching at somebody or coming after them with his cloak blowing in the wind. It looks very cool. Here's a close-up of his face right here on the side. The back shows off his two different modes. Got the Mack truck symbol for his vehicle mode. Converts in 30 steps. Shows off his background display, and then a cross-cell for Jetfire, the other leader class in the line. Over here, it's just got a fuller version of his package art, along with his little buddy Igor jumping at you. We'll take a look at Igor during this review. Alright, the instructions are nothing special. It opens up long ways, shows how to convert Megatron from his robot to vehicle mode. It takes both sides to do so. Shows off his accessories a little bit, and then cross-cell for Jetfire there. Megatron's new vehicle mode is a huge departure from the ones he had in the last two movies. He now transforms into this heavily modified truck. More specifically, it's a Mack M915 line haul replacement tractor. And to be honest, I have no idea what that is. Though I imagine the stock version doesn't come with the giant rusty spikes on the front. Must have gotten it done in a custom shop. As you can see, he's got his little buddy Igor riding on him. You may remember Igor from his very minor appearance in Dark of the Moon. Just kind of limping around Megatron's base camp there. Igor himself is actually quite posable. Got ball joints on both of his arms, and his legs swing on a single hinge here. He's got a lot of really nice painted and sculpted detail. So it's a cool accessory to have. They didn't have to include it, but they did. Alright, the vehicle mode is pretty nicely detailed. Got a lot of paint apps, a lot of rust effects on it. You can see he's got this tarp draped over the trailer part of the truck. That's tied down with these chains, which are made of rubber here. Got like a winch type device on the back. And actually, just now noticed that he has this like bull skull on the back there, so that's pretty cool. Just the chains, and overall, yeah, just pretty impressive to look at. The spikes are all rubber, so you have to worry about them, poking anyone's eyes out. Mine, unfortunately, are quite bent. They came out of the package this way. I don't know how common that is. It's annoying, it's too big a spike, so it's really noticeable that they're pointing off to the side like that. Luckily, they're not very prominent in his robot mode, so I don't always have to look at them. So as nice as this truck mode looks, it's not very functional. Before I get on that, there's a shotgun being stored underneath. See a lot of robot kibble, and the kibble actually caused a bit of a problem. This thing does not roll well, if at all, really. The wheels have trouble making contact. One, because you have this chest piece that's kind of scraping along the bottom there, which is an issue. Makes all the wheels not reach the bottom at once. And then also his cab is kind of like permanently pointing upward a little bit. Doesn't stay very flat. And because of that, the top wheels lift off the ground. So it's definitely form over function going on here. It looks really nice. It's very big, very impressive. You know, the whole tarp with chains is a nice touch. Spikes are a nice touch. But yeah, it doesn't roll to save its life. Got a very obviously hollow cab. You can see in through the back. So yeah, it's something that's cool just to put on display, but it's not going to be fun to play with. And don't display it from the back because yeesh. All right, now to transform this guy, you want to start by removing the chains and tarp here. When you do that, chains hook onto the bottom, so you just want to kind of pry them off one by one. They're rubber, so be a little careful you don't, I don't know, pull on them too hard, break them. Alright, so that comes off. Two separate pieces here. This tarp. And fold it, has this little hood section that'll be used for robot mode. Set that aside. Here's a good look at the area underneath the tarp, and you can see there's a reason the tarp's there, because you got like obvious robot kibble right along here. So definitely not meant to be displayed without a covering. You got some more of these little connection points that Igor can stand on if you choose to have him do that. But anyway, go ahead and start transforming this guy. So first, I'm gonna open up these panels. Separate them out. I'm gonna lift this thing up and off like that. Open these panels as well. Like that. I'm gonna pull this thing down. I'm gonna pull these forearm sections up like this. Work them around this chest piece here. Get it out. There you go. So that's separated. Yeah. Kind of pop these off one by one. It can get kind of really on there sometimes, so you have to fight with it. All right. These panels are gonna very reluctantly fold down like that, form the upper arms. So on this side, you have to fight with it a little bit. Alright. Here's the robot head. You're gonna swing this bad boy out like that. Alright, his chest. Put together here, one nice solid piece. Bring it up. In and up. Plug it in here, like so. Nice and solidly. Make sure that clicks into place. This piece, you're just going to fold up against his back. Plug it in here, like so. Alright, now legs. Let's go ahead and remove the shotgun here. You can fold these wheels in. Gonna untab these parts. Okay, now we're going to separate the legs. So I'm just going to very carefully pull them apart, starting at the cab, like that. Okay. These pieces here are going to fold inwards. So. Alright, these lower legs are just going to rotate inward 90 degrees each. Untab these pieces here. And the back. Rotate. Yes. This piece is going to rotate all the way around like that, kind of going on itself. Bring this in, so. Around. Put this guy in. Make sure this tab's in. Alright. Feet seem flimsy, a lot of moving parts, but they're actually quite sturdy. So let's do the same thing with this. Rotate. in. Setting this up. Yada yada. Bring it in. Tab it. Bring the feet down. Pull the feet down. Alright, for the forearms. Last thing here. Let's rotate these around 180. Push them back in. Do the same thing here. You're gonna bend his knees every which way. Give him that alien appearance that he's known for. Alright, now you're going to attach these chains across his chest. You're going to connect them to these little bits right here. This back kibble. So, instructions show this as the default position. It seems to be the one that drapes over his chest the best. So you're just going to hook one end over there. The other one on this side. This one on here, like so. Pull the last loop over this way. Alright, you can see that looks quite good. Then you can go ahead and give him a shotgun. It's meant to go in this hand. This hand has a partial 5mm hole carved into it, just for him holding his weapon, like that. And that is Megatron's robot mode. And there you have Megatron's robot mode. He ends up looking just fantastic in this form. All of his painted, rusted metal details just really shine through here. His head sculpt is gorgeous. It's got the battle damage that's in the middle of healing from when Optimus blasted half his face off in the last movie. He's got more kibble than his CGI model did. That's, you know, an understatement. But there's really not anything that could have been done about that. It would have been impossible to make a toy that, you know, transformed from that big old truck to a perfect recreation of his robot mode without having, you know, kibble everywhere. So to me, it's forgivable. It blends in well. It's not too out there. So maybe on the backs of his legs, but I like it. I think it looks a lot better than the old Voyager. It's got almost a full range of posability. Heads on. Appears to be a ball joint. Yeah. Shoulders, hinge and swivel, double jointed elbows, the bicep swivel, wrist articulation, but only like the up and down direction. These fingers can separate a little bit. No waist swivel, but he does have articulated hips, though the outward motion of the hips is pretty limited by this side kibble there. It's got multiple knee joints. Get that whole leonine alien creature look going on. And he has ankle tilt, but it doesn't matter because the feet aren't really what are making contact with the ground. Just like hanging toes, basically. But yeah, very posable, very dynamic. You can see Igor can attach to his shoulders. There's a hard point on either side behind his head here. So you can have his horrid little assistant just kind of crawling all over him. Maybe whispering dark thoughts in his ear, who knows. Now to really complete this look though, make Igor take a hike for a second. We are going to drape him in his cowl. Nothing special. It's a piece of fabric, which is, in my opinion, an improvement over the Voyager, which just had like plastic for the cowl, and it just kind of goes over his face like so. It's a little crooked in most positions, but you can get it to work like so. Yeah, it just kind of goes over his head, drapes over that shoulder a little bit, and really helps recreate the look he had in the movie when he's trying to hide his face from everybody. I do love the fabric. I think that's such a nice touch. Downside of having this on is there's nowhere for Igor to go anymore. He just has to kind of hang out. But it is cool if you want the dark and brooding disfigured Megatron. Kind of reminds me of Doctor Doom a little bit. Alright, wanted to whip out Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, also from Studio Series, just to let you all see a height comparison. And despite the fact that this is a Voyager and this is a leader class toy, whose vehicle mode is significantly bigger than his, in their robot modes, they stand at almost the exact same height. They are very, very close, within, millimeters of each other between like the top of his head and the top of his head. Which I might say their head sculpts look remarkably close to one another. They're not the same sculpt. If you look really closely, they are different, but they are similar enough to where you could be fooled into thinking that this is just like a slight retool of this head sculpt. But yeah, I think that's really neat. Because throughout the movies, the Transformers, even when they take on like new vehicle modes, they don't tend to change very much in stature. So Megatron, despite, taking this big tractor truck mode, still is roughly the same size he was when he had his like weird Cybertronian tank jet thing. So I just find that really neat. I'm repeatedly impressed with the engineering that goes into these things and the efforts made to try to make them all in scale with one another. These really do look like the same character, just different points in his timeline, and I find that really impressive. Megatron's backdrop is the Decepticon base of operations in Africa, and hope I get this right, Namibia? Honestly, never heard of it before. But it's really cool. You can see how the place is just in total ruin. This is the Decepticons kind of at their low point. So here you have this rather hobo-looking fella, just standing against this backdrop, looking very dejected. Looking like a fallen leader who's just ready to do whatever it takes to take back what's rightfully his. So yeah, I feel this background really works for him. It really creates this feeling of just like loss and resentment, brewing anger. Alright, let's move on before I get a little too artsy here. Alright, and that's where I'm going to go ahead and end the review. I really, really like this toy. Unlike what we're seeing in Siege lately, this really does feel like a $50 figure. It's just got so much paint on it, so much detail, so many moving parts, really cool accessories, props, and everything that go to it. I really like this. I was very disappointed with the original Dark of the Moon Megatron that came out way back when, so much so I never got it. And I'm glad I held out because this toy is what I wish we could have gotten way back in the day. I love that he came with a little Igor here. Guy makes me smile every time I look at his ugly face. But yeah, that's what I think of this. I'd love to know what you all think of it. Look forward to any of your comments down below. If you like this review, make sure to toss it a like. If you're interested in seeing more like it or any of my other Transformers related videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to ensure that you're always given a heads up when I post something new. And with all that said, I will see you all next time.